Stick got broke.
Your stick is broke?
I think it's
part of our shtick.
I think our stick is
We're on this log wagon trail here, just testing out this new camera mount that's bouncing all over the place.
I think our stick is covered in poop.
I think we need a new car that has better shocks on it or something.
Poop on a stick.
Shtick. It's our part of our shtick. So road trip, big road trip today.
It's hot. It's a hot one.
Dustin.
It's hot.
On a hot road trip. Going to visit a client.
We're gonna cook eggs on this paper.
It's a client.
So hot. We're gonna cook eggs.
We're gonna cook eggs out here later.
You want an omelet?
We brought a bunch of eggs along to make omelets.
You want a ham and cheese omelet?
Ham and
cook
cheese.
Eggs on this pavement. So hot. Hot. So hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Where are we going today?
I don't know. Someplace east of here.
Going to the big town of Ohio.
The big town of Ohio. Bryan, Ohio.
Ohio, big town of Ohio. Ohio's a town.
And next week we're going to Tommy, Ohio. And next week after that we're going to Bradley, Wisconsin.
How big is this town of Ohio? It must be pretty big.
Well, Brian lives there. It's Brian. I assume you named the town after Brian. I assume Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Brian owns the town, I guess. That's what they're doing. So that's where we're going.
We got a lot of stuff we're doing today, huh?
We're doing a lot of stuff today.
What
am I supposed to do while you're doing that?
Oops. Oops.
Yeah, here we are driving down the road. Let's get a picture of the road here while we're driving along. We can, I guess I can't change that. No, I thought I could change that.
Can't flip it around?
Can't flip it around while it's recording.
Are you kidding?
Hello everyone, we're the Vaping Nation, Justin and Dustin. Dustin's operating the camera right now so you can't see him.
I'm Dustin.
He's Dustin, he's over there, you can't see him, but he's there. We're here today at E-Vapor Hut in Bryan, Ohio. Don't ask me where Bryan, Ohio is, we just followed the GPS and it got us here. Out in the middle of a cornfield somewhere.
It's in Bryan, Ohio.
And, it's a really nice town here. I know I have some relatives that live here and stuff. I've been here before, but very nice town. And we are here with
April
Hardy, and you are the owner, correct?
The owner, yeah.
Okay. And who are these fine people working with you?
This is Tim, he's head of the marketing, and this is Sandra, she's head of the lab.
Okay. How long have you been here? How long have you been in business here at this?
I started the business in 2012, mostly online, and then we started the brick and mortar in December of 2012.
Okay. Is this your only store?
We also have a store in Defiance, Ohio. It's about, what, 20 miles from here?
Okay. I read some of that on the internet. There's some information about you as well, so that's just kind of interesting. This was your first location, though, correct?
This was, well, we started in a smaller storefront. We moved over here about a year and a half ago. So.
Okay, interesting. Now, so you've been in business then a total of?
Almost 3 years.
3 years, okay. What have you seen, I guess, and how many employees do you have totally at this point?
Currently we have 4, but we've had up to 8, just kind of depending on what we're doing at the time. We find that the summer hours it's a little bit slower in the summer, and the winter is probably when we're most busy, so.
Although we are busy now.
We are pretty busy.
We're pretty busy today. We had a hard time doing the just setting up here, just to get some idea of it. Now just to kind of ask you guys, kind of some personal background from you guys, how did you guys get into vaping itself? Were you guys smokers before? That kind of thing. Were you, can you share your story about that?
I was about a pack and a half a day smoker before starting the business, and I developed pancreatitis. I had pancreatitis for probably about 8 or 9 months. Went through multiple different surgeries and things like that, trying to find out what was going on with me before they found out that I had the pancreatitis. And once they discovered that's what it was, and I wasn't a drinker, they told me that it was from the smoking. So on the way back, I went to the Cleveland Clinic. That was where they finally discovered it. I came back from Cleveland Clinic, and I picked up a Cigalite at the gas station there, and just went from there. And my pancreatitis pretty much went away after that point. That's where my passion kind of came from. Just trying to help other people, you know, quit smoking and not have those issues that I was having.
Wow.
Mine was just a disgusting smoking habit. I was also a pack and a half a day of full flavor cigarettes, and I just wanted to quit. Everything stunk. My house smelled like cigarettes. Girls didn't want to kiss me. It was bad. So I decided I was going to go to the shop, April's shop, when she was over in the other location. Picked up a starter kit, went through several starter kits. Eventually picked up something real, and this is what got me off of cigarettes. It's been several months. Last time I smoked one, I felt horrible the next day, and I never want to do it again.
Interesting. And what's your story?
I started here because at the time my fiance was working here as the lab manager, and they needed an extra hand, and so I was hired in basically into the lab, but I've never smoked a cigarette a day in my life.
So you're not a vapor then either?
I vape.
Okay.
I started vaping. It started out because I worked in a vape shop. I figured I should probably vape and look like, you know, I know something.
Yeah.
But now it's come to be quite enjoyable.
She does zero Nick, right?
Zero Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes 3, but then I lay on the floor crying, so.
That happened in the office.
Oh, I didn't hear
I had a
that.
friend of mine who it was zero Nick, and he was trying some juice, and it was 8 Nick or something. He couldn't even talk after he was like coughing and wheezing and choking. And it's interesting how that hit really made the difference for him. He was a pretty steady vapor, but
Oh yeah, I'm always trying to get people to try flavors, and I always forget that I vape 10 Nick, and I drip 10 Nick, and people just go crazy when they hit it.
it's funny. So what now? Getting along that line, then what kind of mod do you use, or what are you vaping now? What's your favorite flavor, and what kind of mod do you use?
I have an iTaste, and on it I have the sub tank, and my favorite is Sarge. It's apple pie a la mode with hints of caramel. So that's probably one of our most popular flavors. It's my everyday vape. Occasionally, when I get Vapor's Tongue, I'll go to like our Jamaican Sunset or Momo Adamo. Generally stay with the Sarge, vanilla, cinnamon type flavors.
Okay.
I like pioneering new flavors, and right now we have Going Bananas, which is a new one that we just released, and that's kind of where I'm stuck at. Going Bananas.
People like banana. Yeah.
Oh, it is. So it's like a banana dessert with tones of ice cream and cupcakes.
Sounds
Cinnamon, can't
Cinnamon. Oh, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What about you?
My favorite flavor is the canine caviar. It's like watermelons with strawberry and a hint of coconut and peaches. I like fruity stuff.
Sounds very foo-foo.
That's me.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Let's get, I guess from here, what has been your experience with your family? Now you guys have, I don't know if you're married, whatever's going on with that, but is your family your direct family, or you're still trying to get the girls to kiss you, right?
I'm still trying.
I guess how has the response been just within your immediate family? Have they been pretty responsive, or pretty what's the word, accepting of it, and positive kind of experience, or has it been a negative experience? Has it been mixed? I suppose probably more than anything.
In the beginning, when I, told my family that I wanted to start a business with this, they were kind of skeptical. They thought it was like a fad. That was something that was here today, gone tomorrow. You couldn't really get, much business, especially in this area, being in a small town. But, after seeing how many people we've helped, which was ultimately my goal in the beginning, it still is my goal, they've realized that it's a good thing. And I've been able to get a lot of my family members to use the product as well, so.
Is this the first business you've started?
But I grew up, actually, my dad, when I was a kid, he had several businesses.
Okay.
We came from a family of 5. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad had a full-time job, but he did lots of like odd businesses.
So
and
you
I was
learned kind of
yeah,
passed down to you. So it wasn't
and I was a daddy's girl, so I followed along and did all that with him.
Wow,
and
okay.
so I think I get that from my dad.
more of a practical, kind of a street sense about business than
Yeah, exactly.
an MBA or something, which is usually useless.
Yeah,
Good.
exactly.
Good.
Well, mine was classic. I went to art school for 6 years and got an art degree, and then somehow got into marketing, and that's where it all came together for me. Family super accepted of it. Like I said, I don't stink anymore. Stinking like cigarette smoke is probably the #1 most offensive part of smoking, and it took a while for everything, like my drapes, to stop stinking. My clothes, I actually get everything washed and come out not smelling like smoke anymore. But it's great. It's the only thing that actually worked for me. I tried gum, I tried patches, I tried prescription medication, and I always went back to smoking, especially when I found myself like having anxiety issues. Go right for those cigarettes, and this is now, I mean, it's gadgets and nicotine, so I'm kind of, I'm
Right where
I'm
you
right where I
Right-
need
right
to
in
be.
your spot.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was odd actually when Tim came in and applied for a job. I had been tossing around the idea that I needed somebody that had the skills that Tim had, because at the time I was doing it all myself. And when Tim came in, I was looking at his resume. I'm like, oh, I could really use somebody that could do that. I could really use somebody to do that. And I think I emailed you later, and I had like typed up this like job description. I'm like, this is what I really need somebody to do. You think you could do it? And Tim's like, oh yeah, I could do it. So
It was the same day I came in. It
was the same-
I was actually somewhere else applying, and I got a message from
Yeah.
April, and she was like, I want to offer you the job. And I was like, that's right where I want to be. So,
So you're in the middle of the other interview and you just kind of walked out.
I might as well have, yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, so you kind of have the tech side of things in terms of electronics and.
I do.
Okay.
I take care of like any type of Photoshop or design work that we need to do. The whole marketing side of everything. Even
social media.
Social media is my big thing. I do a lot of stuff on Facebook, organize a lot of contests and stuff to help promote the business, and
As well as sales. You do a lot of sales.
sales
online
too.
sales.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a catch-all job. but
Like a
I-
personal assistant, marketing type. Like Tim does so much, and like he's everywhere doing things.
But I don't want to outshine this lady
No,
right here,
we
'cause
haven't even
she's-
gotten there yet.
Because like I'm her Tim and she's my Sandra, and we all
We work together.
we all help each other out.
This is like the Trinity right here.
Yeah, this is.
So what was my question to begin with? How your family has responded?
Well, my fiance obviously is glad that I started vaping, even though it was for no reason really to begin with. But he's always like talking about it and trying to show me stuff, and I was like, I don't know what you're
So now you
talking
understand.
about. But now I'm like, oh, okay, like
Yeah.
I get you. But the rest of my family they're all smokers, and they're like, no, I'm not ever gonna vape. It's not the same. And like, no, but like I got my grandma started up on a kit, and she like a real setup, not just a starter kit. And she's like, it doesn't even look like a cigarette. That just looks silly. And I'm like, okay, but it's better than a cigarette.
Yeah.
So she's still working on her.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, you hear there's been very positive reports from you guys. You feel better, everything. That your just the social life is better. Things don't smell. Politicians just don't seem to be getting it. I don't want to get too political with what this is about. I mean, everybody knows it's a hot topic right now around the country, and it's just interesting how we can't find anybody that this has helped, and yet there are everybody that walks in here will
Helped
probably
me,
have a
saved my
testimony for
life.
this.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing to me that how they ignore that and continue to ignore that just to try to, because of big tobacco and big pharma, who make all the money that pay the politicians that are trying to get everything happening. I understand you guys just had a victory here
In
the state of
Ohio, yeah,
We
absolutely.
had a terrible time in Indiana.
And
We just got the worst legislation in the country passed there for vaping, but that you guys kind of pulled it off over here, I guess, didn't it?
Yeah, it was House Bill 64, and the language was going to tax e-liquid at a rate, I think it was like $1.13 a milliliter. So it really would have
Yeah.
driven small business away from the vaping community, and it's really the backbone of our community is the small brick and mortar shops. And I think that was the one thing that got Governor Kasich to overturn the language in the bill, was that he supports local business and he supports small business. And I think he realized through, there was a lot of campaigns online, and I myself wrote a letter to him that finally got a response. And I talked about how this is a small business, and you're going to destroy hundreds of these small businesses if this goes into effect. And I think that's what the saving grace was for in Ohio, to be honest with you.
Good. Now, Indiana was very well organized with the behind-the-scenes people. They had a lot of there was a lot of big money that was pushing. There was a security company. I don't know if you've read the legislation in Indiana or not. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's some of it.
You have to have, your lab has to be under surveillance of video, surveillance 24 hours a day. It has to have access. They have to have access to that over the internet. You have to have everything under lock and key. There has to be a special security system. And of course, that security company that certifies it is in cahoots with the politicians. There's a lot of connections you can make with all the money behind all this stuff, and they were very well organized and got it passed without any kind of almost no opposition whatsoever. So that didn't happen to you guys, and hopefully it won't ever happen. But that's it's been a real interesting battle. So it's we're going to talk about that more in a little bit. But now, what you guys all of you deal with customers at the counter, I assume, so you're all talking to them. What is kind of the number one of new people walking in the door who are interested in vaping? What is kind of the number one question you get from people when they walk in the door? What do you hear most often?
For me, it used to always be, well, is this just as bad as smoking? You know, what chemicals are in this? I don't know what's in this, and they're not realizing or thinking about, you know, all the chemicals that are in cigarettes. There's 4,000. I've heard even more than that in cigarettes, and 4 ingredients in ours. So that for me was the number one thing. Probably I hear people ask.
I would have to agree, and the fact that we can't actually sit here and make claims about
makes it difficult.
The fact that this is a safer alternative to smoking. It is cleaner. We can say it's cleaner. We can say it's cheaper, but whether or not it's safer, I mean, long-term studies aren't out yet. So naturally, I can't tell you that in the long term it is going to be safer. I can tell you exactly what goes into our juice. I can't even name 1,000 of the chemicals that are in the cigarette. It's unreal. So to make claims that there's levels of this and that are higher, I mean, like you said, I think it's backed a lot by big business, and it's a money trail, and you follow the money, and that's where you're going to find the legislation coming from in the future.
Yeah, it's the fear thing. They're going after the kids because they got gummy bear flavors.
Exactly.
So I know adults that like gummy bears, so that's it's not an issue. But yeah, it's just that whole thing of the way they wrap all that up.
Sure, we've tried to be as proactive as possible in terms of. I mean, nobody in this industry is marketing to kids and adolescents.
I have yet to meet anybody.
Nobody has a marketing plan that says, we're targeting people 14 to 16. That doesn't happen. And a lot of it is, I play on the nostalgia. I like Fruity Pebbles. Why wouldn't I enjoy something that has a Fruity Pebble on the label? But we've tried to get away from that completely, and our labels are relatively plain. It says what it is, and it has the warnings and stuff that need to be on there. And
yeah, we try to be proactive in what we think might come across the board. As far as we have the child-proof caps, we try not to have anything that is remotely interesting to kids on it. All the warnings that we can have, and even with our lab, even though there isn't any regulations right now, we try to stay up to date with what other people are doing as far as keeping it clean and keeping everything consistent and things like that, just so that when and if that day comes that the regulations come down, we don't have any downtime as far as that goes. Yeah,
that's the plan, is to be as proactive as possible, so when legislation does come into effect, we're ready to hit the ground running.
Oh, and the other thing, too, when we see somebody come through the door that is 18, and they're not even a smoker, but they're kind of doing it because it's like a trendy thing to do, I myself discourage them from getting, like, nicotine in it. It's like, hey, why do you want an addiction to nicotine? Just, if you have to have it because your friends have it, go with a zero nic. You're not going to get the addiction. You're going to get the flavor and all that. Of course, I can't discourage you. Legally, you're old enough to do it, but,
That's been the attitude of almost everybody I've ever talked to. They don't want to see anybody under 18 get into it. A lot of places won't even sell, they don't have any way of knowing, but they won't even sell anything to someone who's not a smoker. I've talked to several places that they won't even sell, if you're not a smoker, they're only interested in getting people off cigarettes. And
really?
We won't sell our products to anybody who is not a smoker or wasn't a smoker. Just interesting. I mean, that's been the norm. It's been that side of things more than it has been we just want the money and we don't care if it comes from kids. I think there's a very responsible group of people within the vaping community that don't want to see that happen. And I mean, if a 16-year-old kid is smoking cigarettes, I'd rather see him vaping. And I guess even like you said, there's no way there's no studies, even though this has been out for a long time. Nobody can find anything wrong with it, but we don't know yet. Cigarettes are bad. I mean, it's just an obvious thing, but so I'll just black out. Got anything to say there, Dustin, while you're saying that? Are you watching? Are you playing video games over there?
Yeah.
Good.
Candy Crush.
Yeah. Candy Crush. I don't think he would be able to play. He's not smart enough.
Oh, that's so mean. I like Dustin.
Thank you.
Behind the
Finally, one person.
He'll be like your fan forever. What do you guys see in the next 5 years? Like, what do you? I didn't ask. I guess I didn't ask the question to all of you. What's the number one thing you've heard? Is that kind of what they've said is the number one thing? We'll come in and ask.
Yeah, a lot of people are always concerned with what's going in your e-liquid, but a lot of people ask me, like, I want the cheapest setup, but with the best hit. Like, that's not gonna happen. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's typical in any product, probably.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah. Interesting. And do they say it just like that, too?
Yeah, just like that.
Standard, yeah.
Now, you guys have a new product that's, is it called CBD?
CBD, yep.
Explain that to me a little bit, because it sounds like it's an interesting thing that you're doing. So what is that more about? Tell us more about that.
You want me to explain it?
I can go for it. CBD it's derived from the marijuana plant, but it's the non-psychoactive. It's one of the non-psychoactive components of the plant, and it's being used a lot to treat people with seizures and anxiety issues. It's great for certain types of pain associated with like cancer treatment. It's good to
Completely legal.
Yeah, and it's completely legal in all 50 states. It's
Not
mostly derived.
mind-altering or
Yeah, it's
anything.
mostly derived from industrial hemp and the seed of the marijuana plant, and it relaxes you. I'm not going to lie, but you don't get that stone feeling from it.
Yeah, we don't market it as like a, how would I say? Yeah, it's something that's going to get you stoned. We market it more as something that is helpful, as an alternative to, typical prescription drugs and things like that. Although we can't make any medical claims as far as it goes, but there's tons of studies out there right now as far as its benefits and things. So we just actually started doing the CBD recently.
CBD recently, and it's been very popular.
Right.
And there's actually a lot of people that come in here specifically to get it for a condition.
Yeah, and online it's been pretty well.
Because
too.
they don't, people don't want to be taking Xanax all the time. Being as close to Michigan as we are, which has legalized medicinal use of marijuana, I think people are starting to see the benefits more and more from it. And being this a component that isn't psychoactive and doesn't, you're not going to hop in a car and drive and do something stupid.
Right.
It's super beneficial, and I really would like people to understand and be educated more on it, because there are so many more benefits from this one plant than from the slew of pills. Like, you posted that video on my Facebook. Yeah, it's a little kid, and he's been taking dozens of medications to deal with seizures and stuff, and it's something that one simple chemical from a plant.
And Tim and I both come from families that are real big on natural remedies and things like that, so we do have that in common. So kind of the
alternative
passion.
process. I think there's you should find a balance between, traditional medicine and, modern medicine. And it's about finding like a whole wellness, personal wellness, and CBD can definitely attribute to that, I think.
I was kind of on the fence about actually doing the CBD line in the beginning, just because I didn't want people to think that we were kind of like a head shop, but the fact that it is, I tried it and it isn't mind altering, and I struggle with anxiety myself, as does Tim, and it helped both of us, and not a way that you're like comatose, but just in a way that it just kind of takes the edge off. And then hearing people say, oh, it helps my arthritis, things like that. That's what I wanted to start the business for, is to help people, and it really, I really have a lot of faith in it. So
I do too. I think it's a positive thing, and I think the more people that get to be exposed to the positives of CBD use, I think it's going to balloon out in the industry, and you're going to find lines that are just strictly CBD lines of juice, and I think that's a possibility that is going to happen.
But what about the big pharmaceutical companies that are going to you're going to hurt them? Don't you feel bad for them?
I don't really feel bad for them. They have, there's Marinol now, and that is,
right.
They take this plant and they chop it up and they adulterate it to the point that it's no longer a plant anymore, and they're allowed to sell that legally if a doctor says that it's okay for you to have it, but the plant itself is not okay. It's a weird balance that it doesn't really make sense, and I think you're going to see a big change in legislation over the next few years.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope people can. I think the biggest thing to me I've noticed is just the educating of the public, and you guys probably do a lot of that just every day, answering questions, that kind of thing, and helping people understand what's in this juice. And they realize it's mostly food-grade products,
right.
And it's not something that's, they're in the back room stirring a kettle with a big...
Exactly.
It's a... Maybe you guys are, I don't know. But
cauldron.
Yeah. So it's not like, I mean, unless they're getting stuff from China they're dumping all their toxic waste into just to get it out of the country.
Yeah.
It's not probably. It's just one of those things where I think education of the public is really important, and whoever gets to the public first, I think will have that ability to push the edge over on just like that with educating people that way, helping to understand what it's about rather than saying, oh, it's just getting people hooked on drugs. That's all it is. So I think that's good that you guys are pushing it. Hopefully, we can be a part of helping promote that as well, and people understand that kind of thing. That's kind of why we're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where do you guys see where do you see the vaping industry going in the next 5 years? What do you see happening?
It's a hard question because it could go one of two ways. I mean, completely overregulated, overtaxed, and just make it impossible for us to continue. Although we're going to fight it tooth and nail as long as we can. Or
I unfortunately think that it's going to be overregulation, but that's why I want to be as proactive as possible with this business to be ready for the regulation when it comes, so we don't get just drown in it, because that's what's going to happen, I think, to a lot of small businesses, and we want to stay ahead of that curve.
Right. What can we do now to prepare for that is what we try to keep in mind all the time.
Have you been involved in the politics much, or just kind of?
Nope, I work in the lab.
She's actually a really good cook as well, so she is great in the lab. So
that's interesting because Dustin over here, he's a cook, very picky about his food.
Is Dustin single? Because if he's a cook and he's single,
yeah.
He's a fan for life.
Makes really great pies. Really good at pies. But he also mixes some of his own juice, does some of his own stuff, and he's so particular about it. He's just very. He's had some of his relatives and stuff try some of the stuff that he's made, and it's just been far premium to anything out there. In fact, we talked about starting our own line, but we just like doing this, so we just talk about it.
Then Indiana put the
kibosh on even trying to do it. We'd have to come up with like $28,000 to just basically have everything put in place to make it happen.
Well, if I'm not mistaken with Indiana, then you would have to apply to be able to do this, and you can get denied.
Right. Yeah.
Indefinitely. Yeah, and it's expensive every time too.
Yep. Every time it's like $8,000 to go through the process, and you got to have. Yeah, it's a ridiculous set of rules, and then they can. I think what they're up to is they're going to probably try to weed out
the smaller
ones and only allow a certain number of shops in the state. So that's kind of what they're looking at. And there's certain shops that have already, strangely enough, certain shops already had everything complied with what was in the legislation before the legislation was even introduced.
That's odd.
Yeah, it's very odd that they were already positioned with that. So it's kind of, there's kind of like a little mafia coalition type thing within Indiana that I think has.
They're floating around there somewhere.
German. It's an interesting set of politics that we have going on there that I think is probably sad in some ways, but that's what happens. What are the plans for your store going forward? Like I think you kind of shared a little bit. You're trying to stay proactive as far as the lab and keeping regulations going. But are you thinking about another shop? Or are you thinking about expansion online, that kind of thing? Or
number one is to be able to make sure that the two shops we have top quality products. We're tossing around a bunch of different ideas of potential things that we want to do. We're always growing, it seems like.
I want to take over Ohio.
Yeah,
that's
we
what
do
I
want to take
over.
over
I want to take over Ohio. And she wants to go international.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll start with baby steps.
It just depends on how much caffeine I've had that day, because sometimes I'll get on a little tangent. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but we really want to make sure that our customers are happy when they walk out the door. So making sure that we can still do that and expand at the same time can be difficult. But we know a lot of our customers by name. We know their family. We know their pets. We know what juice they want when they walk through the door. And really, that's what the business is all about: is knowing those things and helping that person quit smoking, helping that, which we can't really say, but helping them cut down their nicotine levels so they're not dependent on it. and then, you know, work on expanding and helping more people. But yeah, I foresee a third store this fall. Where it's going to be, I'm not sure yet. We have a new line we want to come out with. We really want to work on the CBD liquids and get people educated with that and help as many people as possible with that. So much. We have the convention coming up at the end of July. We have a few shops that carry our juice that we want to help them as well, and just, you know, coming out with new juices all the time. We have a list of juices that we want to release, but you know, you can't release them all at once. I mean, Sandra's heavily
How many flavors do you have right now?
Over 130.
How many?
130?
Okay.
Around 130.
Yeah, and probably a good 20 or 30 that we haven't even released.
Yeah.
And like probably 50 in your head and 50
Yeah.
in your head. You know?
Yeah, it is tough to get.
Yeah.
And to keep them rotated, keep everything moving, that's kind of tough.
And consistency. I hear so many people, like, especially right in the very beginning, tell me, you know, I bought from this company this juice, and the next time I got it, it didn't taste anything like it. So, like, I'm real big on making sure our juices are consistent.
That's
Sandra is, she says she's not OCD, but she's very, very good
It
at
almost takes somebody that's a little bit OCD.
Yeah.
Or a lot.
Yeah.
We'll just say a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, he's... Oh, you can see me over there. It's probably something.
Hi, Dustin.
Hello. Now, you mentioned a little something about the conference, or the convention, whatever you want to call it, the vape blast.
Vape blowout.
Vape
Blowout. Let's
Vape
talk
blowout.
about that a little bit.
It's July 25th of this year in Lime, Ohio at the Allen County Fairgrounds. Oh, I said that wrong. Allen County Fairgrounds in Lime, Ohio. I don't want to confuse it with Fort Wayne, because there's Allen County over there.
That's right. When I first read about it, I thought, well, they're going to have it right here in Fort Wayne. How are they going to do that? But
No.
okay, so
It's going to be in Lime, Ohio. It's at the fairgrounds.
Vape-friendly building, so we don't have to worry about being shut down.
That's
Everybody
nice.
can vape.
Fire marshal actually said that he wanted to stop in and check it out because he's never seen anything like this before. So we shouldn't have any issues regarding vaping issues at the convention. It's great. You know, I'm super excited about it. This is the first time I put together anything like this before. It's turning out to look like it's going to be a really big expo here in Ohio, or one of the biggest ones in the area so far. And I want to do it right. I want to make sure that everybody, the vendors that come in, the customers that come in, everybody's happy. Everyone has a good time. That's what it's really all about. And I want to create like a community for us vapors, you know, like have a vape hangout, or as I want to call it, like a vape out. I can coin that, right?
Yeah.
Vape out. Yeah, we're gonna have a vape out, and it's just gonna be a good time. You know, we've got a variety of different juice vendors that are coming through. People are gonna be selling, you know, mods and different kind of devices. We've got the Saturday Night Zing people doing vape bling, so that's kind of a nice switch away from just juice, just, you know, hardware. You know, we want to kind of expand the horizon on everything that encompasses vaping. That's what we're
Paul
trying to
from
do.
Vapors TV will be there, so you'll be able to watch the convention
Okay.
on Vapors TV.
That's right. He's going to be doing a live stream. What else? Cloud Chasers Inc. is involved. They're going to be doing one of the cloud competitions.
We'll have swag bags for the first 100 that come through the door. They get some free goodies.
First time, it's $5. You can buy your ticket online right now through our website at evaporhut.com.
Facebook it up.
Yeah,
'cause we-
Facebook. We're doing giveaways. I'm going to do a giveaway today. Actually, just give away a sub-box kit today, a black one. We're going to be doing a iStick 50 with a Horizon Tech Arctic tank. Some free juice, always free juice, all the time. And get online, get to Facebook, check it out, facebook.com/vapeblowout.
Vaping Militia will be there.
Vaping Militia is going to be there. I actually just talked with them today. We're going to have Fred's going to be there, and I'm really interested in meeting him. He seems like a pretty cool dude, and I want to, you know, help support them for everything that they want to do. They want to do some fundraisers, something to, you know, raise some money, raise some awareness on everything that they do, and that's why we're bringing them in. You know, we want to make this a very community-oriented event because we are a community. You know, we're a unique group of people that get together, and we have this one thing in common, that we're trying to improve our lifestyle, and it's through vaping. And I just want to celebrate that in every way that we can, and that's what this expo, I think, is really all about, to me anyway.
Yeah. We should give a shout out to our VIP sponsors as well,
That's
A&S
true.
Vapors and Cass Vapors.
And Cass Vapors, yes. Cass is the one that's sponsoring the iStick giveaway that I'm going to be putting online on Facebook today. Yeah, A&S, they're good. They're the ones that gave away the sub box also. So.
What's the total number of vendors you're expecting to be there?
Well, we'll have these filled, so.
Over 20, I'd like to say over 20 unique vendors are going to be here.
Okay. And how long has this process been in place? Like, how long have you wanted to do this kind of thing? And what was the kind of the vision or the inspiration behind it all?
About 30 vendors, sorry.
Is it going to be about 30?
A&S Vapors in Lima, they sell our juice as well, and he had put on a cloud comp.
He's been doing like circuit cloud
For a while.
competitions, and it's going to culminate at this event. So we're going to have a cloud comp that's their circuit event, and then there's going to be one for the general public also.
So yeah, he pretty much came to us with the idea of doing a convention, and we kind of like ran with it and made it bigger than what he had initially intended. And he's like, "Oh, you guys can do it," and gave it to us, and we just took
We're
over.
just shooting for the stars is what
Right.
we're doing. I mean, we went to Vape in the Fort, the original Vape in the Fort convention, and we thought this was a good
Waiting in line
time.
about 2 hours before you get in.
Yeah, exactly. We did do the
Came early.
long
Yeah.
wait in line. Got a swag bag that I was less than impressed with. So that's why I want to make our swag bags like totally kick ass. You know, be full of good juice.
But Vape in the Fort was a blast.
That's true. Vape in the Fort was a good time. Don't get me wrong.
Good.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
It was a lot bigger. They had a bigger turnout than they expected, and that was part of the idea with this expo, was to try and be able to accommodate as many people as we could if we do have that kind of turnout, which I'm expecting.
And we saw some of the issues that they had and kind of learned from it, making sure that we don't have the fire marshal there screaming at everybody.
Yeah, you can't vape in the hallway. No, you're going to be able to vape everywhere at this convention. It's not going to be regulated like that.
So, now again, that was, what's the date on that?
July 25th.
July 25th, and cost us $5. They can sign up
$5.
online.
You can buy your ticket online, or
At
you
the
can
door.
try to buy one at the door, but I doubt you get a swag bag, because there's only 100 of them.
And if you buy it online, you still have to be in line to get the swag
That's
bag.
true.
First
Yeah.
100 in
Yeah.
line.
First 100
But then
in
you'll
line,
be up
through
right
the
at the
door.
If you're a store that wants to have a table there, can they?
Absolutely. You can contact me directly, marketing@evaporhut.com. If you're interested, I still have a couple of slots available for different shops. We'd love to have you.
We're getting down to
Down to the wire, though, so just a little bit of time. We're kind of real close here because we need to get all the details to the people that are helping us, set up the
Right. Yeah.
giant empty room and make it into look like a beautiful presentation of like vaping everything.
And if you don't want to be a vendor, you don't have the time, or it's too far away, you can always give to the swag bags, put
That's
your
right.
info in the swag bags, and
Info
maybe
in the swag
even if
bags.
you're in California and you can't come this way, we can put your card in there and a juice. And
Absolutely. And juice from California is good. I've had some real good California juice.
Yeah.
Shout out to California. That's what I'm saying. And, yeah, we'd love to have your juice in the swag bags. I'm sure people would love to try your juice. This is a great opportunity. It's a negligible fee, just kind of cover our time to put together the bags. And we want you to have juice, something vape-related, vape bands, tank savers, anything that somebody wants to donate that is vape-related. We want to be able to give this back to the community, and that's what the swag bag's for. And we encourage anyone to participate. We'd love to have you.
Great. Maybe we can show up and do some interviews over there.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this, and we're going to try to push this out to as many places as we can. But again, you're online, so you can get a hold of you online at your website. You also have a phone number. And what's the address here at your store?
This store is 213 South Main, Bryan, Ohio.
And your Defiance is?
At 114 Clinton Street. We're also on Facebook and on our website.
Okay.
So,
Should be easy to find then.
yeah.
Tim out there marketing.
E-Vapor Hut, yeah,
That's right.
I'll be annoying you guys. I'm sure you'll hear from me again.
Awesome. Good. Well, thank you for your time, and really wish the best for all of you, and especially for that the
Expo,
convention.
yeah.
So
I think it's going to be a smashing good time, and I encourage everybody to come out.
it's a lot of work, and hopefully you guys won't get too tired getting it all done, but it'll be worth it.
I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you for coming in. We appreciate you having us.
Okay.
Everything is nice and color coded thanks to me. And we've got all of our desserts, all of our drinks, all of our custard line, our menthols, our tobaccos, and then all of our fruit flavors. We've got our build station here for people who want us to build them a coil build, or they get a free build with any starter kit purchase. Discount bin, drip tips, replacement parts in case you break something or you lose something. We've got all of our tanks here. And then down in here we've got more discount juice. We've got our Vision spinners, chargers, little tiny Cig-A-Lights. Cash register, of course. And then over here we've got the fun stuff. We've got 30-watt eye sticks, which are super popular. Sigelli 150s. Those are also super popular. Some covers. And then we've got a couple of startup kits for people just to kind of show them price and what it's going to cost. And then we've got our vape bling by Saturday Night Zine. And then some just little H2 starter kits. And then over here we've got all of our mech mods and RDAs and batteries and box mods and things you would need for, well, that.
More bling.
More bling. Lanyards.
You're like Vanna White. Vanna who?
No such thing as too much more. And that's pretty much the shop.
Cool.
Kind of hang out.
Little lounge area.
He's got some hard shell meatloaf in that thing there, and he's got some beef tenderloin that's been sitting around in there, and he's got some doo-doo in there. He's got some dog doo. He had a dog once and that doo-dooed in his beard. He's got some trash in there, and he's got a manhole cover that's in his beard there, and he's got some toothbrushes in there, and he's got probably a recliner that's been moldy and put in there, and he's got a ladder that goes up to the thing in there, and he's got some things that sit in there, and he's got some moldy stuff that goes inside of there, and he's got some socks and underwear that's sitting there, and he likes to sit around in there on his chair, and he's got a moldy yellow beard in there, and